welcome to Teachers Off Duty. If you have not joined us before, my name is Rebecca Rogers. I'm R. Rogers World on social media.
And I'm Ta Williams, or Mr. Williams Pre-K on social media.
I am Bree, Honest Teacher Vibes on all social media platforms.
And I am Lauren Woolley, Mrs. Woolley in 5th.
We have a lot of really funny stories for you planned today because we are talking about parent-teacher conferences.
Ooh. I just had those last week.
A lot of anxiety.
So much anxiety.
Oh, see, I don't know. How often do you have them in elementary school?
Twice a year. So
Twice
we do one.
a year?
Yeah, we do one in the fall, and then we have spring conferences. So like, it's always a known fact you're gonna have more conferences in the fall.
Yeah.
And then no
Way
one's gonna
less.
show up in the spring. But I mean, this time around, I actually did get quite a few. And they went well. But I always get anxiety about conferences. I
get nervous. Didn't we talk about if you have to call for a conference, like, don't pick up.
Yeah,
and it's
you
like,
pray
my God.
that you
I
get the
hate
voicemail.
calling. I
pray.
send a text. No way am I calling.
we have 4. So we do a home visit, which is, I feel like, such an out-of-date practice, but we do a home visit, then you do a conference, and then you do a conference, and then you do a home visit.
See, my first year teaching, I had one conference, and it was because the kid cheated on something and got caught. And then my second year teaching, I had one conference. And
Wait, you didn't have to do?
No.
We don't do parent-teacher conferences.
I had one
My
conference my
high school
second year because the mom thought that I hated her kid.
Why are you
So
bullying
you
my
just did
child?
it as
Right.
needed?
But I had a lot during online learning because
Right.
why is my kid failing? Oh, because they never come to class.
But to be fair, it's high school and middle school, so it's hard to probably do a conference because that parents see 8 teachers.
Yeah.
We did it, and the teachers had to
No.
sit. Are we talking about your school? Okay,
my school, like my high school that I went to, we probably had 1,300 kids at that school, and every year, twice a year, they still had conferences. Your parents would sign up for a time slot, and if they
Did
needed
go
to see you,
the classroom, or they did it in the gym?
they went to your classroom. So all the teachers stayed in their classes, and then whatever parents needed to see whoever they did. But when I taught just 2 subjects, and then my other teacher taught the other 2 subjects, we sat in the same room and had one conference with that
that's
parent.
Nice.
But no, we still do it in high school, so it baffles me that
We
your
do
school never
meet the
does
teacher.
it.
We do meet the teacher night at the very
love
beginning of the
that.
school
I
year, but
genuinely
we don't do
love that.
anything else after that.
You don't do conferences at all?
No.
Meet the Teacher night I liked because the parents came to our classroom, or if you were in high school, which I've never taught, you would just do your child's schedule that day for 10 minutes each.
Yeah.
But I loved it in pre-K because the parents would come in and then they would sit there and I would talk, and it was like doing a stand-up routine. They would just sit there, and I'm just if I was let's make them think I'm funny because then they'll like me for the rest of the year and get my humor. But I try to set the tone. Now when you do conferences or you have an obligation meet the teacher night, does your school compensate that in a sense of you're not going to work on Friday, you have Friday off, but you have to stay until 10 o'clock on Thursday?
Absolutely.
So for my school, for open house, no, because it's just an hour
100%.
or so. But parent-teacher conferences, so we had conferences from 3:30 to 9:30 on Thursday. So I literally taught all day and then stayed an extra whole day after to do conferences. And then we are off on Friday. So
That's
we
nice.
work
We would
a
do that
day,
too.
but we get that day off because we're working literally a double
Right.
shift.
I like that.
A double teaching
I'm
shift.
working a double shift, guys.
No, it's just oh, by the way, you can't leave till 8 or whatever time. Usually 9 o'clock.
Ours
8
went
or
to
9
10,
o'clock.
Ours went to 9:30.
And no, it's just expected that you do it. But have any of you had an example of an insane conference that you've participated in?
I have stories from people because, again, y'all send me y'all stories from all over the country. So I got some crazy
I want to hear a story
stories.
before I tell my story.
So,
I'll hear a story
I want to
first.
test the waters.
Oh my God.
I have some crazy stories. I have a lot. But
The
go ahead,
amount
Bree.
of weird things that parents bring with them to parent-teacher conferences, or the interesting things that they wear when they walk in. So there was one parent who had a jacket, and the jacket was zipped up, and in the middle of the meeting her jacket started wiggling, and she unzipped her jacket. There was a freaking squirrel in her jacket. Baby, I would have ran up out
An
of
actual
there.
rodent is in.
Yes, a freaking squirrel in her
Was it
jacket.
domesticated, or did she just find?
I don't know.
I
Was
would
it
say you guys
a
got
squirrel
to
or
leave.
a sugar glider?
No,
I
it was
need
a
to know.
squirrel.
I need to
It
know.
was,
I
it
think
was a
that she
squirrel.
just picked it up and brought it. Why would you do
Hold
that?
It was a
on.
squirrel.
I'm more concerned that Becca needs to know the difference. would it matter
Yes,
if it was a
because a lot
sugar
of
glider
people-
or a squirrel?
Yes, because like a lot of people have sugar gliders
As
as
pets.
pets.
Okay, that makes
so
sense.
it wouldn't be
But
like
to bring them to conferences,
I'm telling you, it would still be weird, but not
it's at
as
least a
weird
pet.
as like, oh, there's a squirrel on this tree. Let me snatch it up.
We're
real
gonna
quick.
have like the Squirrel Pet Owners Association
Wow.
message us and be like, listen, we exist.
That's not
Sugar gliders of
well,
America.
I guess it is as bad, but one lady said that there was a dad that came in with biker shorts on.
Oh
What?
no!
Did he bike there?
I guess he
Oh, okay,
cycled.
maybe that's a little
All right.
That's-
different.
oh,
but
why?
Please do not come in with no daggone biker
No, I
shorts
don't want
on.
those.
Please don't do that. That's
Okay,
nasty.
so
Put some clothes on.
I'll get to my story
Put some
later,
clothes
but
on.
like the thing that is baffling to me is like when parents come to conferences and they bring their kids with them, which is fine.
I love that.
But then they just allow their kids to
Oh.
run
Tear
rampant
up
in
your
the
whole class
like
on mountain. You
Susan,
wrangle your kids.
I just
Susan
cleaned this
Ferguson
room.
would never.
Susan Ferguson.
She would whoop my
could
butt
not-
if I
Okay.
came in that conference room and was like destroying my teacher's
Right.
classroom.
Freaking tornado.
Never.
But I have toys in my classroom, counting bears, markers just sitting out. So kids come in like, it's playtime.
Right.
And they always have their younger siblings. I love when parents bring their child because then we can have a conversation
Right.
with the child, not about the child,
Right,
not
right,
at the,
yeah.
you know?
Right.
And then they're like, can they go play? And I'm like, no, let's have them draw at the table. And then
Tear it
sometimes
up,
I'll be like, if it's like a conversation that's not about the child or it's about like family and they need to talk to me privately, I'm like, go play. And they always get those counting bears, dump them out. And then they're bye. And I'm like, oh no.
You gonna come clean
I want you to show your mom how great you are at cleaning up.
Hey, you're such
Yeah.
a good
But really, I'm
teacher.
just like-
Pick
Show her
this
the
stuff up off
skills.
my
Yeah.
plate.
Yeah, like I have the same, like same. Even though I'm an upper elementary classroom, like I got drawers of fidgets, like all kinds of. That's
the siblings
fine.
probably
do
You
too.
play
None of
with
that
it. I don't care. Put it
Go
back.
back.
I ain't got
Because I
none
have
of that
another conference to come. I don't want these parents to think that I have a messy room because I do.
Or
I just
like
cleaned
the
it for
break
this.
like the
I would-
chairs, the flexible seating that I
Right.
have. It's all over the place.
I always feel bad for the teachers that don't know how to move parents along.
Right.
Like for Meet the Teacher night, like
It's a
some
skill.
parents.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm one of those. I have a hard
No.
time.
I was.
Lauren.
How do you do
will-
it?
I will be like, oh, okay, well, just email me and let me know if you need anything. But baby, this ain't no one-on-one parent-teacher conference. It's other people in here. Don't be disrespectful.
Yep.
You've been talking to me for 25 minutes and your child got a 99 in my class. There's nothing we
Right.
need to talk about.
Exactly.
They ain't got no bad behavior. They got a 99.
I
Move it
started
along.
writing
I will
times
say
on a
though,
whiteboard.
Move it
yeah, but I
along.
will say though, and someone put this into perspective for me is that even though the parents that have the kids that have an A+ in your class
Right.
might show up, like they still want to hear that their kid is
No,
doing well.
I'm
and like,
not negating the fact that they want to hear about their child. I think that's absolutely
right,
phenomenal.
always
but
those
I'm saying
parents
like
who
they
want-
want to hear you brag
They be
about
wanting
their
to talk
kid.
for 25
Like,
minutes. It's
right,
other people
right.
in here, fam.
Mine isn't
Schedule a conference.
brag. It's the A students' parents that come and I feel like they're like, no, tell me what they're doing wrong. I'm like, they're not doing
Right.
anything.
Like,
Babe,
they're doing,
Like,
fine.
ma'am,
Great.
this is not a teacher observation. I don't have to find something wrong like admin does when they
100%.
come in. They got to
Right.
find something wrong.
Have you mastered the parent-teacher conference sandwich?
Yes.
What is that?
When
What?
you're
You,
like-
you hit them with the positive.
Oh my gosh.
Then you talk about what needs to be
Right.
changed, and then you bring back
It's
that
the same.
positive.
But mine's always like a triple cheeseburger. It's a positive of meat and then the bottom. It's
Yeah.
like I'm always like, they always have really nice hair when they come in.
Yeah.
I have not mastered that because I'd be like, "Yo, kid's bad. What you want to do?"
No,
See,
I
in my
would-
crazy story,
Little
I
Ray
didn't
Sean
even
in here
have
turning
that
the class.
opportunity because in the story that I was gonna tell, I had a parent teacher conference and it was me, all three of the other students, teachers, an administrator, and the parent. But the problem was the student had not come to a single class. Like this was during online learning. They
Oh, I
didn't
think
even
yeah.
sign up for Google Classroom or
I think you
anything
talked
like
about
that.
this, and the mom was like,
And the mom was like, why is my kid failing?
'Cause
And we're
he
like,
won't
he
do no
doesn't
work.
come to class. And she's like,
'Cause
well,
I
it's
don't know
because there's
him.
a pandemic. And we're like, it's online school. But she kept talking about, I'm not sending him to that school. You can put me in a straight jacket before I send him to that school. And like, she wouldn't understand
Bruh,
that
the
this is
extremes.
online class. He doesn't, and I tried to stay very quiet, and we let the admin, like she literally
Yeah.
said, you'll have to put me in a straight jacket before I send him to
Right,
that
but what I'm
school."
saying, like, what was that gonna do?
I don't like.
she was
to
saying that
force
she was
the
saying
kid
that
out.
she like that you
So
have
like
to
that
force
was
force
them
her.
into
to me.
school, like to force the
Jacket.
kid out of the house to school. And us teachers, like we just sat there like, are we being punked? Like, is this
So many
really
times.
happening? So we just let the admin talk the
Oh,
whole time, and
So
he
many
was
times.
like, ma'am, all he has to do is sign in on like Google Meet. And she's like, well, he can't because the icons that the kids use on their cameras, like he's afraid of the other kids. really, she's like, he doesn't want to see the other kids. And I actually spoke up and I was like, oh, my
doesn't want to see?
Yes, he doesn't want to see the other kids. And I'm like, oh, well, no one in my class has even turned their cameras on.
We're going to get in the comments because I'm just going to, did he have any atypical behavior?
I never laid eyes on him.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea.
And wouldn't the mom communicate that particular
You would
part
hope
instead
so.
of
I have no idea.
Well, I mean, she might have assumed you knew more information because, I mean, if I had a parent that told in high school level that they were their student was afraid to see other kids, I'd be like, oh.
I never gotten like
an IEP
accommodation
or
documents or anything like that. Like she's just like, he doesn't want to see the kids, and I was like, well, my kids don't even turn their cameras
see the
on.
kids
and
either.
she's like, well,
Baby,
the icons stare at him on the screen.
No.
And
Yeah, there's gotta be
she's an
something
odd
going on.
Yeah, there's
and I was like,
something going
okay,
on
so
there.
what? Like, and eventually her admin was just like, what do you want us to do? And she's like, I don't want him to fail. And we're like, he has not come to class.
And
Like, I don't know.
even seems like it was like a obviously something's going on. If
Right.
that, so like that seems like a
Right.
misfire of like when you don't give, and it sounds like the mom might have just assumed you knew some stuff. So it's like, I don't know if it's administration or what, but it's like, if you don't tell us everything that's going with these students, I could
We
reach
don't
out to the mom a week ago
know.
and been like, hey, I know that so-and-so has,
Right.
lives with so-and-so.
We want your
So
kid to do well.
Right,
Like, we don't
right,
just want them to-
Yeah.
I don't get what the
Just
misfire
like,
is.
what
with,
was I supposed
Yeah,
like, what
with
were we
parents
supposed to
thinking-
do?
I don't understand what the misfire is with some parents thinking, like, well, I don't want my kid to fail. Okay, have them do the work. Well, no.
They don't want to do the work.
Right.
No.
I don't
Well, then
like-
you don't get the grade.
I
Like,
don't
I
like
don't know
how
what
when
you
we
think
have-
is going to happen here.
I don't like when the times that I have had to have a parent-teacher conference because we don't do the big parent-teacher conferences, but we do have
But throughout
where
the
we
year
have to
you
have
do.
like
Correct.
one-on-one parent-teacher conferences, and it's so frustrating as a teacher to sit in a meeting and listen to the parent blame you for every
my
single
gosh.
thing,
Yeah.
and you're like, ma'am, is your child going to take any personal responsibility for their
Right.
behavior at all? Like,
No.
like what?
The
What?
baby is an angel.
Or parent
cannot understand that, 'cause I'm like,
responsibility.
we are
I'm
the
like,
devil.
You
My
see them
mom-
at home. You see how they act over summer break.
My mom would have never, like, this generation of parents, they look at the teacher and want to know, like, what did you do to my child for them to act like that? My mama would have knocked me into the middle of next week if a teacher had told her, like, what I tell
Right.
some of these parents what their kids are doing. If Tracy, because my mom named Tracy, if Tracy would have been sitting in a meeting with me and that teacher would have said, well, Bree is exhibiting this behavior such and such.
Right.
My mama would never look at that teacher and say, well, what did you do for my child to act like that? Are you freaking kidding me?
And I think it's like also like it is. I don't think parents understand that they're their child's first teacher.
Right,
And so
right.
you're able to sit there and partner with your child's teacher.
Because we want to partner with you.
And when you're saying,
We're not the
your
enemy.
student was doing this, or this, it's not time to be, what are you doing wrong? It's a time that you guys can sit there and conference with the child and say, I didn't know you were doing that in class. You didn't tell me that. You told me this instead. Why don't we sit here and
Right.
problem solve this then?
Right.
Because I promise you, in 9 years of teaching, I have never had it out for a family or a child. Like,
Right.
we want your kids. Your kid can be difficult. We
Right.
still love them. There's
Right,
not
facts.
your child is not a problem to us.
Right.
They can have difficulties, but we genuinely want your child to succeed.
Right.
If not just for the love of that child, for our own selfish needs of needing everyone to do well,
Right,
and like
right.
being validated as a teacher that we could reach everyone. So like
Right.
the immediate stand when that teacher was just out to get my child,
And
I'm
there are
like,
so many
what?
parents that are
understand
like,
it.
well, everyone is out to get so and so.
Right.
And it's like, take a step back, really think about the history here.
Right.
Are they really out to get your
Right.
kid, or has
That is too much
has
effort on my
a lot
part.
of events taken
Right.
place
That's too much
over
effort
and
on my
over and
part.
over
I
again?
actually had a student. She was a junior. I taught her for American history, and I knew some of her other teachers. And apparently, what would happen is she would cheat really badly in other classes because she had those teachers before she knew how to do it. So, like, my department chair had her and couldn't catch her red-handed, but knew it was happening, and literally made her go sit in another seat when they did assessments. Like, she couldn't be near her stuff. She couldn't be wherever. Her science teacher, whenever they had a quiz or a test the next day, she had the science teacher, I think first period, and she had me second period. So she would always tell me, oh, I forgot this, or my laptop or my phone, can I go grab it? My teacher has planning. And I didn't, I was a second year teacher at the time. I didn't think anything of it, her teacher had to email me and was like, can you please not let her come get her stuff because she leaves it on purpose to look at the tests on my desk. So like during planning, she was very smart, very intelligent. Never leave no test on my desk. I actually was the only one that was able to catch her red-handed. Because after I realized, oh wow, she's like cheating in all these teachers' classrooms. I bet she's teaching in mine. Absolutely.
I can't find them on social media. Hold my drink.
Hold on, give it to me. Thank you.
I have such.
Go ahead.
No, it's just about cheating. So did she get in trouble?
Well, so like I literally watched her. She looked up, made eye contact with me. She had her study guide on the floor during our next test.
What do you folks mean?
Like after I cleared everything, she got it out, made eye contact with me, and went back to cheating. I literally I didn't know because a bunch of other kids, I didn't know if other kids had access to her study guide or whatever. And so, like, I talked to her. I had to report it because she was in National Honor Society and all that stuff. Man. She got kicked out.
Of course you in NHS because...
Well, the other teachers were like, please pursue this because we know it's a problem in all of our other classes and we can't catch her. You did. And the mom told me I was mistaken. She was emailing me that I just was being mean and I was mistaken and blah, 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 blah. 2 weeks later, she turns in another quiz and the answer key is written in the top corner, thinking that I'm not going to catch it.
Becca's like, girl, I was born at night, but it wasn't last night, okay? I know exactly what you're doing.
This is going to be very controversial. I'm almost eagerly want to see your reactions when it comes to cheating. Okay? Especially because you guys all have grades where you actually do tests. So if you don't know, I'm going back to school for my clinical social work degree, and I had an epiphany in my program. Why do we not allow children to write not only the answers but notes on every test? Because when in your life are you going to be in your profession and they're going to say, hey, if you're a doctor, this person needs medicine. You go, okay, it is. Look it up on Google. Google's a thing.
I literally posted this on Instagram last week. Somebody posted something about why do we not allow for open book tests all the time? Because think about it, in our adult lives, how to look up the answer. Our adult lives, if we are trying to figure out a problem or we're trying to answer something, we do not sit there and just think for 30 minutes straight. No. You're going to Google that.
Or not only that, or call another social worker or call another teacher and be like, hey, I don't remember what this is. So it was an epiphany in the program.
I don't see a problem with that.
But I think it's something that has to go from, because like they were talking about our exams and that they're always open book. And then I was like, and they didn't say anything about like, they were like, use any and all resources you have for this. I'm like, so can we work with other classmates? Yes. Can I get on Quizlet and see the answers there? Yes.
You need to know where to be able to find information quickly, and you need to know
that in itself is a resource when taking a quiz.
And I do a lot of partner work in my class because I can either have that one kid sit there and struggle by himself for 2 hours on one assignment, or I can partner him with someone who's kind of going to be a teacher figure to him or her, and then the two of them work together. Yeah, he might not get to help out with as many answers, but he's learning what those answers are because that other kid is doing it too.
But in today's day and time, we don't even do recalling information. Like the state tests and stuff like that, they have the passage with them. They have to be able to tell what a text is saying, things that are not like explicitly or directly stated. They have to be able to infer. They have to be able to analyze a text. Anybody that doesn't let them, like for language arts or for ELA, anybody that doesn't let them like have the text or whatever, that's how the state test is. So it's not necessarily a thing of like, we don't let them use notes.
Because I
definitely let, but the teachers, but I guess it'd be different.
They can't use it for the test.
Well, I guess it'd be different for like history and math.
Well, like to clarify, I really want to clarify, because when I say that she had like the answer key and that was like not okay, I didn't mean that she had like examples of events. It was more like like in that order. That's the right order. And that's not like
we know what you're talking about.
Bex, we know.
I wanted to like clarify for like
because somebody in the comments like you don't know that was
hot. But also like even though I do agree with the idea of like using study guides, because if you took good enough notes to like understand, then 100%. But I can't, like at our district, we can't do it unless the entire PL.
No, but I go a step further than taking notes, because how many times have you had people do a research project? So if they're reading what is the Fourth Amendment and they type it in, they're researching the answer. So why do you even have to? Why do you even have to have study guide, because learning how to use the tools, or go to you know what? You can use anything you want, but you have to go to the library and use the encyclopedias.
The only thing I would amend that with, see my pun, but anyways.
Oh, what a corn dog.
I know, I'm lame. It's okay. But I would always make sure that my kids, like, if they, use whatever, but you can't just copy the internet text verbatim. I want to see it in your own words.
If they're in a short answer or something,
right.
obviously,
like, if you can summarize the information that you just read off the internet, that's great. You understand it. But if you're copying it, that doesn't tell me that you actually know what you're saying.
But there's like different teaching strategies. So
for sure.
100% is. It's just, and I think that there is a lot of power and encouraging children to like really research and study it and to know. It's just, I think in the long game of like, we don't do a good job in the U.S. preparing any age group for college, and then even in college sometimes to prepare them for their actual profession. Mm-hmm. Like we talked about student teaching before. Right. So why not give them these tools that we actually do in the profession, where if we don't know the answer, we can find it and not sit there and just fail that portion.
That's a really good point.
Bringing it back to like parent-teacher conferences, I love the parents that like are willing to work with us, because I try to treat my kids like I'm their auntie at school. Like I'm not your mama, because no disrespect, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm more of like your aunt. And so when I call parents, like I try to talk to them like we're working together, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hey, I want them to know I love your kid. They acting a fool, but I still love them. What can we do to work together so that we can have what's best for them? And every single time when I take that approach, every single time by the end of the conversation, me and the parent is like besties. And I'm like, boy, I got your mama on speed dial. We supposed to go out for drinks next week. Don't play with me, because I will call her right now.
I always just like
I'll
say the number
together.
I'll say the phone number, and the kid will be like, I know your mom's number.
I know your mom's number.
We talk all the time.
I know your mom's number. I be like, one kid though, I hate it. Like one kid, I was like, I'm gonna call your mom, and he was like, I don't care, she ain't gonna do nothing. I called that mom and I was like, hey, such and such, such and such is doing this, whatever. I told them I was going to call you. And they were like, she ain't going to do nothing. She said, is he standing right there right now? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, put him on the phone.
Oh,
baby, she hot, baby. I heard her holler and cuss him up one side and down the other. And you know how they walk back in the class trying to act like they mama ain't just snap on them, and the kids be like, what she say? She didn't even say nothing. Bruh, they heard her cussing you out. Bruh, you ain't got a lot of kicking. We know your mama just cussed you out.
I had a lot of that at my old school was like that. Like if I called the parent,
they want to talk to the kid.
If they asked to talk to their kid, I was like, oh, you gonna get
your mom said,
I feel bad for you.
Is he standing right there? Yes, ma'am. Let me talk to him. She want to talk to you. You just see all the color drain out of their face.
That sounds like a parent that another teacher who sent me a story really needed. Because I love that she even ended the story with, we do not get paid enough.
And we do not, under no circumstances.
This parent emailed her and was like, my kid isn't having enough fun moving around your class. And she's like, moving around?
Because we're a Carnival Cruise director.
What do you mean?
Not a teacher.
Says, I saw this thing on Pinterest of this teacher who made an obstacle course starting in the hallway throughout the classroom, and that looks really fun, and you need to incorporate that for my kid because he deserves that.
I'm assuming they're elementary age.
Yes,
it does sound very fun. My eyes went like, ooh,
no, that's a good
idea.
The cleanup class parties was like next party.
The teacher was like, I don't have
American
those
Ninja
kind
Warrior
of resources.
Party.
Right.
The teacher was like, I don't have those kind of resources, but also it's a shared hallway. I can't put an obstacle course in the hallway
Peggy,
like
72,
that.
gonna skid and scatter and trip.
Right.
And then she out on what is it called? Work.
And then we gotta cover her class.
And I gotta cover her class.
And the parent's response was, well, I have a degree in children. That was it. I have a degree in children.
I got a degree in children.
I know what's best, and if you can't do it, then you're just a lazy teacher.
No, so that's a
people don't believe us when we say parents be saying stuff to us like
I have a degree in children.
Somebody listening right now is like, well, she didn't really say it like that.
Yeah,
no,
she did.
We
Yeah,
really
said
it.
She
So that's a program called Minds in Motion that elementary schools have, and it's a grant that you can get, and this stuff is like either built by like a carpenter or delivered to you, but that's not like something I can guarantee you that teacher did not like.
Go out
it was like the school's thing. Our school had it was an amazing tool to use. It was like on the side of the hallway, and then there's an entire classroom for it, where they could go up the stairs and do balancing.
Yeah,
It was
we
just
have
like they were
one.
like,
We don't have a room yet. That's something I really want to do at my school. I want to build like a sensory room.
yeah.
But like we have
sensory room would be
like the hallway by the recess door. They have like the little lily pads where they hop and skip and they like slap the wall.
Yeah,
and
that's what we have. Yeah.
yeah, we have that
Cool.
stuff. So
The push up and the
the push-ups on the
wall
wall
push-up.
and stuff.
What? Maybe I need to go to
cute.
elementary.
It's fun.
Listen,
No.
y'all,
It's fun.
elementary's
Absolutely not.
fun.
Never in a
No.
million years.
Until they start like
Peeing on their shoelace.
Right.
I
See,
told
I
you.
couldn't do that elementary. Like I'm up a little bit.
I can't do none
It's
of it.
just because it's one of my favorite things. Did you do any stories for this or a question?
I
The
did
question
do
queen
that.
thing.
I
hear
love
them?
questions.
Because the last one
So-
with the sharks killed me, so I have to hear
That
this.
one with the unzipping the
Some of
skin,
these
that
are
was
funny.
weird.
Okay, so I asked the question on my Instagram. So if you don't already look at my Instagram stories, make sure you do that because I post questions for the podcast every now and then. So you never know when there's going to be a bunch of new questions up there. But I asked, what did my teacher tell my family at parent-teacher conference?
Oh, God.
Oh no.
I can't wait to hear these.
Wrong answers
One said-
only.
My family didn't show up.
That's
so sad.
all the time.
Wait, is this a wrong answers only kind of thing when you ask them?
I mean, they always give
like a
me some
joke?
funny
Right.
It's like
answers.
wrong,
yeah,
that's what she says on TikTok. Like
I say wrong answers only sometimes. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do. It just
Family
depends.
didn't show up.
Oh, you guys are like cringing.
The
and I'm
childhood
laughing.
trauma in me.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
right?
some of these answers are like really funny, and then some of them are like, your teacher really did say that, didn't she?
That's- yeah.
Like this next one, she said, I was in my own world and I didn't pay attention and was friendless and daydreaming.
Friendless
Like,
and
you know someone
daydreaming.
said that to that girl somewhere.
That is very specific.
hope
You
it
don't
was
just
not
come
the
up with
teacher.
that. I hope not.
She's
Friendless and daydreaming.
friendless and
Yeah.
daydreaming.
Like, I'm
Daydreaming.
like, ugh.
That is sad.
And listen, daydream.
She said that teacher was angry.
Someone
She
said,
was hungry, yeah.
your kid ate my hamster.
Okay.
Even the cameraman looked up. He was like, what?
The cameraman said, and if that's a true one, then you know that kid had it. That's another parent-teacher
Serial
That
conference
killer.
gives
right
me a
there.
lot of
You gotta be on
anxiety.
Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
That makes me so nervous that I can't
Isn't that
help
one
but
of
laugh.
Isn't that one of the three like things
Cruelty
to
to
mark
animals.
a
I
think
marking a
cruelty, I
serial
don't-
killer?
That's not even
I
cruelty.
think
Cruelty to
cruelty, I don't know
animals?
about eating animals. I think that is a whole different level.
Not that, like a hamster.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Again, like that's the kind of anxiety that like I have to laugh at it because I don't know what else.
You
to
ate
do.
Frank.
You ate Frank.
Hey, Frank, the classroom pet. The hamster
No,
gone.
he was named after Frank's hot sauce, but
Okay. She talks so much. I let her teach the class.
Oh,
yeah, I've said that. I said
I mean,
I could let
yeah.
her teach the class.
Somebody
and I
said
said
Yeah,
I
there are
let
a few of them. I'm like,
Somebody said that.
go
to
ahead
you.
and do this.
Yeah, somebody said that to you.
I don't know if I told this one yet, but if not, I'm sure we have new listeners. But this is the most uncomfortable parent-teacher conference I've ever had in my entire life. So it was I don't remember what year it was in teaching, but across the street from I never would go on dates. I was single at the time, obviously. Would never go on dates in the city I worked in. And it wasn't because of any reason of like, I don't want parents to see me out or whatever. I just didn't want to run into students because I don't want to have that conversation of like, I'm on a date.
What you doing out here?
Yeah.
In these
So
streets?
I never did that. No,
What a street.
these yes, at the time, yeah. No. So I remember I was at like the grocery store and I was talking to a guy that was there, and I'm pretty sure I can't remember if he was in uniform, but I knew he was an officer. And so I started making jokes, and then we were leaving the conversation because we were in line paying for whatever. He asked for my number, and I exchanged numbers. And then he's like, "Would you like to go out sometime?" And like, over text, I'm like, "Oh, okay." And so the place that he had suggested, I can see from my classroom.
Oh.
It's across the street, but it's a sushi bar.
Yeah.
So he suggested that, and he's like, we can go, because I know you were. I'm like, it's just right across from my, you know what? What parent is going to bring their kid to a sushi bar? And it wasn't just like, when I say sushi bar, I don't mean like sushi bar. I mean, it's like a sushi martini bar. So I'm like, okay. And it's like a nice restaurant. So
Right.
Your parents not going to bring their kid there. So I'm like, you know what? This will do. Very beginning of the school year. So we haven't had back to school night yet. So I'm like, I'll bring in some clothes. I'll like stay after school for a little bit. I'll do that. I'll change it into something else and I'll go there. So I'm on the date and we're just talking, and then I see my student and her mom come in, and it looks like they're picking up food at the front, like they'd ordered food.
Gosh.
And the student looks at me, and I'm like, oh, my student's coming over here. I'm so sorry. And he's like, no, it's okay, because he's facing away. And the student comes and I say hi. She doesn't say hi to me. She pivots and goes, Dad? And I was like, oh my God. And then the mom spurting. She's like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, is this your? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, And so I'm thinking, oh my God, they're married. And so I'm like, are you guys married? And they're like, no, we divorced 2 years ago. And then like trying to convince me it wasn't that weird or anything like that, or it's totally okay. Like the mom was trying to say that the guy was trying to say it. And I was like, this is really uncomfortable. I'm not like, even if that wasn't the case, I'm not going to date a student's parent. That's really weird. So I was like, thank you so much. Like this is paid my stuff, zoomed out of there, right?
I'm ahead.
I'm like beneath my skin, like so uncomfortable.
I'm gonna go ahead.
They don't show up to parent night, which isn't like always like, or back to school night, like that's not always a thing. But then we do our first parent-teacher conference. And I had scheduled, what you do is you schedule them, like you call them, say this is the time, and you like we send reminders home with the kiddo. And so I always have like the stuff set out, like I have 2 things to sign. If I know the parents are divorced, they each sign something so that they each get their own copy. And I have them both set out, and mom walks in and I was like, is dad coming? She's like, no, we would actually feel more comfortable if we could do our parent-teacher conferences separate for the rest of the year.
Oh my God.
Now, as I told you before, we have 4 of them a year. That was the first one. So every time I had a conference, first off, he never showed up to one. He came to like the school stuff, but never came up to a conference one-on-one. The mom, it was just every time she came in, there was no social conversation, no like knocking elbows and having fun. No, she was there for the conference and to go. I'm like, baby, you were not okay with that.
This is awkward when this happens to.
Like,
I know we're running out of time, but I got to tell y'all this story real quick.
Please
So
do.
again, people send me their stories from all over the country. I could not believe this story. So this teacher went and like hung out with her teacher bestie, like they went to a bar or whatever. And at the bar, this man was like chatting her up, like they were having a good time. They exchanged numbers. They had planned like a date for that next weekend. Like they had the restaurant named, what they were going to do, where they were going to hang out. Parent-teacher conference on Monday. That dad comes walking in with his wife and one of the kids that was in her class.
Oh, the wife.
And she was looking at, like, I said, did you say something? She was like, no. I'm like, babe, I would have been like, ma'am, your husband a cheater, girl, because I seen him at the, we was at the bar the other night. He gave me his number. Here go his number in my phone right here. Here go the restaurant we supposed to eat at. He a cheater. Divorce him right now. Take him for all the child support, all the alimony, everything, because he a cheater. He a cheater.
Yeah, that is not the way they thought the parent-teacher conference was going to go. Like,
can you imagine? I would have been mortified.
Did he say anything?
No, standing there like a bump on the log. You know you a cheater. Cheaters
Listen,
never win.
If I was that guy, I would have been so anxious that whole meeting. Like, is she gonna rat me
Right?
out?
She didn't
you
say
imagine?
nothing, baby. I would have been like,
Wow.
ma'am,
Did
that's
he say
funny.
anything after?
No. I walked up out there like you wasn't just hoochie dancing on this woman at the little bar y'all was at.
hoochie dancing.
I cannot. That made me so mad for that teacher. How freaking embarrassing.
I don't even know if it's embarrassing for the teacher as much of it that I would have now I don't know if I would have said anything, but I would have just, I think I made a TikTok about this when I first started TikTok. I would have just dropped subtle hints the whole time, like, how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun? Like I would have just like salt and pepper that.
I'm
just,
abrasive.
Like,
I would have been like, ma'am, your husband is a filthy cheater, lying.
I don't know what I would do. Honestly, I'm trying to say, like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, I think I'd be like Brie. I'd just rat him out. But then in my other side of my brain, I'm like, no, I don't like confrontation, so I'd probably just like let it go. I'm
like,
know.
who you gonna fight, sir? You the one that's a
But
liar.
like, whose family am I gonna ruin? I don't want to do that. Like,
that's my
know.
thing is I don't want to know that, like,
he ruined his own family.
I
That's
don't know
his
what
fault.
I would've
That's
done
true,
either.
but I don't want to be the catalyst. Like, I don't want to do that.
I'm gonna catalyze that thing because he a cheater.
Well, we hope that you guys had fun with some of our stories. We hope to do another episode with lots of stories sometime really soon. We love you guys so much, and we hope you have a fabulous rest of your week. Bye, guys.
bye.